Okay, so we're going to open our meeting with call to order. We should perhaps start with pledge of allegiance like we do with our other meetings. Do you typically do it? No, we don't.
We don't.
Okay,
But
so
if-
we'll proceed.
Okay.
So on the agenda, I'm just gonna run through quickly. We have the update on the pay-as-you-throw technical assistance grant. Both Jen and Rebecca worked on that. I think we need Rebecca in on that. I discussed, and then maybe possible discussion of a pilot of composting. I put down public outreach, so I'll say a little more about it when we get there. And improving minutes, and then of course outlining our next steps. And welcome to David. Thank you for being here. And David, you are the head of,
Chair of the Board of Health,
and no, but in your capacity as your job, you are the.
Health Agent for the Salem Board of Health.
Okay, so he's a lot of knowledge based there.
Health agent for Salem.
Yes,
Yes, so I know you're chairman of the board. It's the other part of this chairman,
yes.
each board.
Health Agent for the City of Salem. Been there in this role for 5 years, but overall, I've been there for 19 years.
Cool.
I've seen a lot in Salem.
So you'll be a good resource then.
I think so.
Okay, so Rebecca's still in her meeting, so I was gonna hold on the page. If you can we do the minutes, please, first, if you don't mind going a little out of order. And you get those, you were not here, so you'd have to.
Yeah.
Stop them. Yeah.
Are you guys happy with this format, I guess?
I am.
Okay.
I
I
like
just
it.
threw a couple of quotes in there, but otherwise pretty basic.
I'll be honest, I think that, when you try to quote people in minutes, it often doesn't. It's not correct a lot of the time.
Okay.
And then sometimes people can get very upset because they feel like they're being taken out of context, but you
Okay.
didn't write what the person said before and what the person said
Oh, yeah.
after.
Okay.
So I've always thought that the thing you record all the votes.
Okay.
And, note if there is no vote or something like that. Just a consensus is, I use the word consensus to say, there was consensus that we should move this way.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have it right there, you have topics. And everything, so I think that's,
Perfect. Thank you.
yes. And we did kind of agree that the survey should be more of a frequently asked question. That might come more into that, which.
I don't understand that.
Which,
I don't remember saying that.
I think,
Questions should be changed to FAQ format.
I think I asked that, I said,
Oh.
because we can't seem to,
Oh, it says here, I said it, but.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
here, Jan, questions, change to FAQs.
I think you might have offered that in response to my obvious confusion as to how we can possibly do a survey and ask people if they want something, and we know we need to do anyway.
No, but it, yeah, I
I mean, if
don't,
the
I just
state's
don't-
moving towards recycling and the state's moving towards composting, why are we surveying people on it?
Yeah,
Because
right.
it's not like you have.
but I think what I was
Of
saying,
the
because I had
decision
written
shots.
questions for the survey
Yes,
and it wasn't an FAQ format, so
right.
that's why I just was
I was
confused, like,
wondering if we.
Well,
could-
because I think after we wrote the questions, then we decided because we had discussed all along about why are we doing a survey when really we should be educating the public instead.
okay,
and
but a
then-
survey can't really be an FAQ format, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Right, I think we
Yeah, so
decided
that's
that,
why that confuses me, but that's okay.
oh, I meant like, we're not really gonna do a survey. Instead, we would do like a frequently asked question.
Oh, okay, so it's not,
Instead of
so
doing a
it's not
survey,
as-
we would
all right.
do,
okay, I got you,
Yeah,
because we thought that would make more sense.
but
as
we
far as
may have
public
to still
education.
do a survey.
there may be some
With the,
kind of a requirement.
The technical assistance grant, if we do that may actually give us impetus to do a
Okay,
survey.
Oh, is that what you found out with your,
Well, I just know that some towns do choose to do surveys, but they're kind of saying with the technical assistance grant that it might be premature to do one now.
okay.
That's all.
so do we want to make the motion to accept the minutes?
Sure.
Made by Jan, I'll second it.
The minutes,
April 23rd.
April 23rd.
Yes. and I seconded it. And I'm just gonna call for the vote, in favor, 2 abstentions,
One,
3 yes. Okay,
Okay, all right.
so that's done. So maybe, while we're waiting for Rebecca, move to the public outreach, because I think that flows into what you were just asking me about, and I understand that the grant may dictate what we have to do. But, it's funny, on the radio show that I listened to, they've been doing this little buzz spot where they say, by the way, do you know how many things in your bathroom are recyclable? Put a small container in your bathroom. Or switch to bar soap and put a liquid soap. So what I'm wondering is, on our television station, which I know is not vastly watched, but, maybe we could have a mirror copy of that somehow on the internet, I'm not sure. But like a rolling thing, just on some,
Tips.
well,
trash tips.
yeah, without overwhelming them with 15 pages of information, like top
Like a
three,
spot.
top three's tips for this week from this meeting. You know, what do we think is important to get out to people?
is there a place for people to recycle things like toothpaste tubes and razor blades and or disposable razors and things like that from your bathroom?
We have not found that yet, but I've told there are ways to do that. I mean, other towns are doing that. We're not.
Well, certain things are not recyclable.
But you can have a collection place if people.
Like,
are
I
willing-
think of, one-time use plastic razor, not recyclable.
I think they are. I think there is a program to recycle them. I think we're doing it in Salem. I'll double check.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right, because I've seen the
Check,
list.
because, you know,
Definitely
that would be
check.
great, but
Because
things like,
we have boxes set up in our City Hall Annex for things like shopping bags, plastic shopping bags, toothpaste tubes, I think disposable razors, not necessarily straight edge razors, but
Yeah,
plastic, the plastic disposable razors, yeah.
Yes,
we'll
so-
find out for sure.
right, if we're gonna talk
But
about
I
it,
think
we should do
Kathy's,
it.
Kathy's just talking too about, you know, you empty the shampoo bottle, you just throw it away because you don't have a. I
Right.
think if you're lazy, you don't put it in
Well, yeah.
recycling when you
That's
really
what my
should.
husband, and so
Yeah.
Kathy's dumpster diving in the bathroom trash now.
But
And then I heard
education
this,
around what is recyclable and what isn't, and what is the cost to recycle, you know, people don't want your glass anymore, so. Why are we focusing on glass? You know, it's recyclable, but it costs a lot of money to recycle it.
well, isn't it state law to recycle?
It is,
Yeah,
but-
it is.
I mean, the state has to catch up with the fact that it's very expensive to recycle glass. And you're not getting any bang for your buck to recycle it.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know.
what are towns thinking about doing?
I don't know, because it is a requirement to recycle, so,
Yeah,
you know, it's stuff.
Well, I think the interesting thing is about the cans, which was one of the questions I wanted to ask. If you don't. If you don't redeem your 5 cents. From your aluminum can,
yes,
right? You end up paying for it again. Because you pay for it to be recycled in your, you know, with your trash.
okay,
So, but the weird thing is that 5 cents goes to the state. Their general fund, if you
Okay.
don't redeem it. So, I mean, these are the things that I think if people. The state, it would be helpful if it was easier to redeem our cans, because it isn't easy right now to do it.
well, here's a thought, I just,
So, and the aluminum can be recycled over and over and over and over and over and still be useful.
but,
So like aluminum is super important to recycle, and yet. We're still not treating it as a commodity that's worth money, you know, it's just kind of like.
right, we used to. But they also, again, from television binge watching, there was a commercial for a soda company, and I didn't catch which one is doing it, but they're going to glass. Because they say, we will reuse these glass bottles when we buy.
Possible.
Yeah,
Most
so,
places, you
so-
take a bottle, they break it down.
so these are these are the fun facts.
What, do they have a deposit on it?
I'm not sure, I
Yeah,
just,
take-
like I said, I saw it in passing, these are too quick, you
Yeah.
know, I'm always like listening to the radio, listening to
Sometimes the
talk
milk
shows.
bottles are the same way.
But it was,
You can
this
get a
was
safe
definitely
deposit
an
on.
advertisement on television from a soda company. I'm sure we could find out about it. That is going to reuse the glass bottles, they're going back to glass. Which, in some ways I don't like, because then our parks are literally broken glass as opposed to cans that we can just pick up. But that, these are some things that are happening, and I feel like in Groveland, at least, that initially, years ago, when we first started to recycle, we were so gung ho. We had a little site down here at the town hall, and we used to drive down Saturday morning. There was all the volunteers, we were sorting, you know, I was throwing my stuff this way and that way. And, we thought we were all that, you know, and then,
We were all that.
well, we were. for
Now
very-
all of our plastic goes
For
to
a very
China.
brief shining moment, I don't feel
China
like,
doesn't want it
I
anymore.
want, no, but I feel like this whole thing in town went quickly off to the side somehow. Almost when we got the little plastic bins, then we just stopped.
No, but we had a good rate of recycling then, because I was on that committee.
Okay,
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
with the plastic bins when we first
Yeah.
got them,
Yeah.
okay,
But what's the rate of recycling now?
it's not.
Well,
Well,
you gotta look at those numbers, but people are
these are the
recycling.
ones that Jennifer did first. Now, I'm assuming she's doing this with our data.
Who's Jennifer?
Not Jennifer, Taylor, I'm so sorry.
Taylor.
Okay.
You know,
So Taylor generated,
Taylor, she generated this somehow with our information. I mean, we do have about 2,600 households. Our population is about 6,700, that's correct. I'm assuming the tonnage for trash is about right. The term I didn't know, maybe you would know, I did not know what trash PPC is. I'm not sure what that means. Is that some kind of a division of those trash tons across? No, it wouldn't be that either. I don't know.
Where are you looking at, Kathy?
Under
Under-
the annual trash,
Oh,
it says
okay.
trash PPC, I can Google it too, because then it says. Annual rec, oh, that would be recycling tons, and then rec PPC, whatever that is. And then the trash tipping fee at $103. I thought our recycling tipping fee was much higher than $46. I thought that we were paying about the same per ton.
Yeah, it was about the same. It was
That's what I
closer
thought.
To 100, well,
And then she made estimates of if we go to a pay-as-you-throw program, what would we save? Which, I mean, this is all really great data to see. I'm assuming that what they're assuming is that if we go to pay-as-you-throw, we go to a pay-as-you-throw program where we have the cards, but you have to buy the bags. So that's where this stream of money comes in on the other page. And that to me is, this is the money that we have to kind of justify, but explain to people that similar to what Taylor said, do you want to pay for my cable bill because my husband wants every channel possible? No, you don't want that.
oh, I thought they really addressed it well on the webinar that we watched.
Okay, he said things, so why should your neighbor pay for your trash?
He
Why
said
should you pay for
He
your
equated
neighbor's?
it to your water
It's Apple
bill.
Star, just quite frankly.
Well,
What's
not
that?
with trash the way it is.
Trash to cable, I mean,
Well, yeah, but I mean, trash is a commodity.
It's
that-
more like water.
Yes.
Ron equated it to your water bill,
Okay,
and
everybody.
your
uses
electric
water.
bill too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and your electric bill.
where,
Yeah.
yes, you pay for what you use.
Pay for what
Same
you-
thing. It's the same concept.
Right, but more importantly, what I would like to try and connect it to is our proposition 2.5% cap. So what I would want is for these funds to be going into a specified revolving fund.
Mhm.
So they couldn't be tapped and moved to other areas and then, oh, another general override, we can't afford our new trash contract.
that probably should have happened with the overrides in the past for the trash fund.
We had one override for trash.
I think there were three.
No, there was one.
I checked and there were three.
When we're,
Really? Do you have the dates? Because I've looked up our override history. We have really good time voting down overrides. Prior to the general override that was passed, we hadn't passed an override in Groveland in 15 years. A general override.
2002 at 1, a increase in curbside collection.
Yes.
2000 at 1, maintain rubbish collection.
Wait,
that pass though?
Yeah, but were those,
wait, can you say that 2001, 2002?
So in 1999, in 1991, July 1, 1991, it won the override Public Works and Facilities Fund Rubbish Collection and Disposal Contract. June 21st, 2000, it won override Public Works and Facilities Maintain Rubbish Collection and Disposal
What
Contract.
year is that?
I'm
2000,
sorry, where is that information? I'm just.
Division of Local Services, Department of Revenue.
Yes. I knew that.
And in May of 2002, it won override Public Works and Facilities paying increase in curbside collection of rubbish and recycling.
Okay, we'll do that. So,
So
what years are you saying?
Why don't we make a copy of that,
No, I'm gonna look at it.
if you wouldn't
It
mind?
was back in two thousand
Make it
one.
easier for you.
1991,
Yes.
2000, and 2002.
Mm.
Now granted, in 2002, you're at 22 years ago, so I'm sure trash and recycling fees were a lot less than they are today.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, that was
that being
maybe,
said,
that was due to a failed school over that.
you know, and that's another thing in this town, they bundle all these things together and they never really break them out in an override to say
Right.
what is what. So
Well, because.
knowing that this was for paying an increase in curbside collection of trash, of rubbish and recycling rather, that's important to know. So, yeah, I mean,
Here, I can make a copy right here.
That'd be great.
well, I think the other thing that really needs to be examined is the contract. And what kind of savings are you gonna get in a contract with a new vendor potentially? Before you rush the pay as you throw.
But before we go into that, I want to just circle back to the fees from the page before, because the problem with the general override is that it's only used for the purpose that you voted it for in that first year. After that, it's a free for all. There's no guarantees. So if you go to a pay as you throw to avoid overrides that are connected to the collection of trash, the trash tonnage rate, if you put it into a revolving account and protect it, then you should be able to, by changing the amount that you pay for your throwaway for your bags, keep pace with the contract. Because right now, if you look on the back side of this sheet, the estimated revenues are fairly significant. $284,000. We have a $1 million contract. Okay, that the collection part of it is probably about 450, 500,000, but the rest is recycling and tonnage.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so my
But
point,
you may make those savings up in a new contract with a different vendor.
it doesn't matter, we'll
we
just
don't know
lose
that.
them again. We'll lose them again as the tonnage goes up. This is the point, we're continually chasing our tail. If we go to a pay-as-you-throw and go to the carts, we'll get a new vendor, there's no question about that. We're gonna go get bids, it's going to be competitive.
And we may uncouple the
But-
bids.
But there's just no way to avoid the fact that the cost of trash and tonnage is going to escalate. We have no control over it. We can't fit it into our 2.5% increases. We give our town employees typically 2% increases. So we fit their raises into it. So you know that's right. So
I do know it, and
we can't take this $1 million contract and fit it any longer. There's just no way. We'll be lying to everybody.
I may get outvoted on this,
Yeah,
but in my opinion, the first step is not this. The first step is the contract. And then you look at this, and this should really go to the townspeople to vote on at town meeting. And to be voted on as
well, they
a,
vote on the contract.
how the townspeople vote.
What we're trying to do, is to explore the feasibility of pay-as-you-throw, and that's why I know we skipped over it in the
In the
agenda.
Yeah,
But
So-
in fact, it was approved at the select board meeting that that Rebecca would go for this pay-as-you-throw technical assistance
Right.
grant, which gives you, which,
I'd like to see
Can I-
the
can I
grant.
finish?
Yeah, you can finish, but I'd like to see the grant, you know,
because what it will give us is 80 hours of time from the DEP staff to help us explore all those options, so we're not just chasing our tails and going, going, oh, well, this might be good, that might be good, this might be good. And to me, that makes a lot of sense to get as much information as possible And we're not getting another contract for a couple of years. So we really need to be doing this now.
I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing it and exploring it. I'm just saying, I don't think that should be the first step.
It's
No,
not,
we have to.
But they're linked.
right,
Yeah.
I understand. I'm just saying, I don't think that, I'm not saying don't explore it. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying it shouldn't be the first implementation of a step towards reducing our trash contract.
so here's the thing. There's this belief system that we can just keep finding another contract that's a little bit less and somehow we're gonna be fine, but we've not been fine for, as you can see, 20 some odd years. And so here's the thought. To put before the people in town, would you rather redirect the small amount, and I can give you the percentage of our funds that fund our general government that take care of things like trash and retirement. The percentage that trashes of that is significant. And we have control of that. We have the ability
I-
to do something
I
about
get
it. We have the ability to develop a fund that can be relatively low for people initially, the bags, we can make it as low as we want. But the difference is that in going out for these proposals, if we don't put in there everything we're interested in them bidding on, giving us cost on, then we're not, all we're gonna get is the same old crap that we got in the last contract and the contract before that where they walked out of us in the middle of the year. And you know, this is the stuff that this town has been dealing with since I've lived in it. So 30 years now, we've been dealing with this. It's the same old, same old. Everybody says, oh, we got another bidder. And the last one was what, oh, they could get 4 barrels out there and the cost was cheap and the company just walked off and left us. Okay,
That company had problems before that. but-
no, but I'm
We
just saying.
really know that the only way we're gonna save money is we have to do trash reduction. We have.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So
Correct.
we gotta figure out the best way to do that.
But the thing is, we have to include in our request for proposals. We have to include everything that we are interested in. Because if you don't, they're not gonna offer that. They're gonna just give us the same boilerplate that we've been looking at for the past 30 years. And as I said, this contract is crushing what I call our flexible funds in our budget. You know, out of a $20 million budget, you know, what is it? How much? 65%. So what's that? 14 million, whatever, 12 to 14 goes to the school. And we have this little bit of money that's somewhat flexible, that's outside the contracted areas and stuff that we can move around and try and put out fires and do
I
things.
just think we disagree on the process.
Well, I
don't
think that
we disagree.
Here's the elephant in the room, though.
No, the process is to put it into all of the proposals. So that
Yeah, oh, yeah, I
we
agree
can, so
on
that we
that.
can get all the information. You can't let the town vote on something that we don't have information on.
Yes,
No, I'm not saying that we should.
Yeah.
I'm saying, go get the information. I totally agree with you.
But so what we're.
Go get the
doing-
information.
No, but no, it's
So
not.
I guess
us.
maybe I don't
No,
understand what you are saying. Maybe you could say it again.
yeah.
Well, I just think that the pay as you throw, I think, go get the information, but I just don't think that should be implemented until we know what a new contract looks like.
Okay, so
That's all I'm saying.
here's what I'm saying.
If that
Before-
needs to be included in an RFP to go out,
It's not an RFP, it's
it is an RFP.
Yeah.
request for, yeah, it is proposed, we're asking for proposals, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Request for
the word.
proposals.
Yeah, so this would be included in it to make sure that we get all the information at the same time. And then we can make cost charts and also forecast where
So-
each of these contracts is
Then
going,
that-
because to
So we
just,
kind of do pay as you throw now with the over.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just want to make sure that you're
But
aware.
I,
That is a form of pay. as you
but I don't use an overflow bag, so I'm not.
okay,
I'm
but
No,
I just
never
want to make
understood.
one more point, that we can't pay ourselves, we can't buy ourselves out of the fact that we have 6 landfills at this time and our trash is being shipped out of state. So we are out of landfill space and we
Well,
have
well, wait,
to
it's-
reduce
right
our
now,
trash.
I think it's being burned. I think our trash is burned up. I don't think we're shipping it out of state yet. Are we?
Regardless, the state
Yeah.
of Massachusetts
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
shipping out.
yeah,
is shipping out
right.
of
yeah.
state and we are no longer supporting any burning, like
Well-
there may be places that burn now, but they aren't going to be, once they're done, they're done.
So here's what I
Trust me,
think,
they're gonna get expanded. Those ash landfills get expanded. I used to work in Saugus. They expand that ash landfill every 20 years.
We have to reduce our trash, period, end of story, whether, we
That's how
can't
they-
buy our
they
way out of
burn it.
this.
okay,
And then
but
they bury it in an ash landfill.
the point of the committee is
I know,
not
I
to
understand.
decide, so we have to develop all the aspects that go into we're not gonna just get contracts, they're not gonna just hand us their boilers. We're gonna put together a proposal, a request that is involved.
All right,
and-
I don't want to
and
get bogged
then-
down in it. I
Yeah, no,
just-
and I want you,
I
I
just-
want your input to help us, but I do
Alright.
think, wanna make sure you understand that our job isn't to decide for the town. It's to make sure that we get every piece of information that we might potentially need, so that somebody doesn't raise their hand and go, did you look at this before you got these four when Rebecca looks at all the stuff and comes back and says, here's what this would do for us, here's what this would do for us, that's what she's gonna do. We need to make sure that our point is townspeople and people involved in their expertise, everything that we should pass for information.
Okay.
Because we didn't do that, obviously, our last contract, we had an interim financial director who then exited after saying there's no point in going out to bid. So at that point, to go out to bid was fairly intimidating for the board. So we didn't quite know how to do it to begin with. So we rolled into the next contract, not reading the fine print, to be honest, on the recycling fees that Rebecca then picked up on and said, oh, by the way, so what is our recycling cost now, would you estimate? Because she has it down at $45 and I thought it was higher.
For the recycling cost, can you just clarify the question, please?
The tipping, is that the tipping fee that
The tipping fee for trash or
recycling?
for the latest recycling report?
$45.97.
That's
Where's
what,
Rev? I don't
but
know.
then there was something in the contract. Remember you said to me that you looked it over and you said, by the way, Kath,
So for the. Make like 5 different things at the same time, but if I look at what I meant by the contract is that if you look at our contract
yes,
and you look at what we agreed upon. There are multiple charges that get tied into the recycling, not the trash, but the recycling that have to do with the company fee, the residue fee, the excess contamination fee. And then that excess contamination fee shall be increased by 3% on July 1st, 2022, and every July 1st thereafter for the extended term of the agreement. So there's added charges to the recycling side of things. So that's were some of the concerns that I had with the current contract, because what we were paying in 2022 and being increased 3% in addition to the company fee, the residue fee, et cetera.
What's the company fee?
So the initial company fee is 110 per delivered ton. But
See?
again, that goes up 3% every fiscal year, because that's the way that it read in the
That's-
contract.
Yeah, that's as much as our trash fee.
Right, we determined that.
Yeah, it's
We're
okay.
very-
So
very
these are the
comfortable.
items that like when we put out a request for proposal, we're gonna wanna itemize any and all.
I don't think there should be a company fee. I think.
I don't
they-
think there should be either, but you have to somehow ask correctly in a request for proposal to make sure that they
Yeah,
don't just,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
I completely agree with you. You have to make sure you're asking for everything that the town wants in an RFP. Absolutely.
Right. And then on the town side, I think we have to consider the idea that we may need a revenue stream to help supplement the contract.
Mhm.
And the company fee is the compensation per ton for cost incurred by the company to prepare recyclables for end markets, i.e. those actions necessary to render recyclables acceptable to end markets and or designated buyers.
Is that just for the recycling or is that for trash?
That's just for recycling.
So it's $100,000 plus 3% every year,
It's $110
$110 plus
Dollars per ton.
Yeah,
per ton.
yeah. Oh, we got, it's like taking the universe.
But you see,
Yeah,
part of-
you snap it. Okay, you got your laugh.
Part of the thing is too, all our recycling all goes into one thing.
The single
So it
stream.
all has to be sorted.
Well, That's
the
what they
company.
say, but if you ask me, I mean, I look at the description of how they, first of all, the contamination fee is a set fee. They just say, they assume this amount is contaminated.
But that's based upon a contamination audit that they're supposed to be doing every so often.
Okay, but
Right.
you, based on the barrels that they pick up or don't pick up, do you think they're really doing that all the time? A bar trash, that we're getting an audit done?
But it's not necessarily the audit of what's it's in the barrels as much as it's on the audit when they put it down, like what they
Okay,
can
so
sort.
again, have we ever gotten a report of the audit to justify what they're?
No, we
charging?
haven't.
No,
Is anybody auditing them when they're out there on the street?
no,
Because I'll be honest with you, when I'm home watching them pick up my trash, they're dumping everything into one truck.
yes,
Right, because
Well,
it's a
there's
dual
two,
truck.
there-
I don't know, doesn't appear to be a dual truck to me, to be honest with you, but
I
But
did
see-
get a photo of that because somebody had brought that to our
Mhm.
attention as well. So they showed us the two different compartments. Whether or not they use them as two separate compartments is your guess as good as mine, but there is two separate compartments and it has been verified that that is for the use of the truck. One is for
So-
recycling, one is for trash.
So in our request for proposals, can we ask these kind of questions and have them have to put into writing? Because first of all, can we ask them for a copy of the latest audit of our contamination? We've never seen a report, ever.
it's in the contract, I would ask for it now.
Okay, let's ask for, so we know what we're thinking about for the next request, you know, because the more I understand about it, the better I am, and there's so many
You
things.
know, I still
understand.
think that
What?
having somebody from the waste management come to one of these meetings
Mhm.
really, really help. Because if they would, you know,
Yeah,
Yes.
be able to answer a lot of these questions face to face. it
As our
would
current
really,
hauler.
really help.
He
Mm.
will come, and I mean, he's a nice guy,
'Cause I've been
but
asking
again,
him
he
to-
told us, Roy Boyle, he tells us exactly what we wanna hear, and then, look, we asked why all of a sudden they're picking up everything that people put out, oh, we got on the drive. You know, I mean, this is the pattern, initially, I was getting screamed at because nobody's trash was getting picked up. I don't know if you remember the nightmare as we began this expensive contract. And streets were not getting picked up. And they had all kinds of
But we
reasons
have 2 more
why.
years on this. contract.
I know.
So
And
if
then,
we don't get some of these answers now,
well, here's,
it's gonna make it even more difficult to, you know.
Is there an exit clause
Well,
in the
we-
contract?
not really, no.
do we need one right now?
Not.
There
really.
should be an exit clause or a termination clause in every.
Well, there is a termination, but I think it would take a lot. We would have to, the burden would be on us. I mean, what we
What,
can
are
do-
we unhappy right this minute?
Well, I'm unhappy that they're picking up piles of crap on the ground next to trash cans, yes.
Oh, that they're doing the things that they're not supposed to do,
Correct.
instead of taking the things
The two
and
barrels.
leaving it.
I mean, I can understand them not being able to differentiate. the
Because they're not
size.
enforcing our rules of,
Well, they're the ones, Roy's the one that told us to go to 2 barrels. He said, well, you're at 4 barrels now, go to 2 barrels. That'll save you
So,
money.
but
Do we have in town a bylaw or regulation that stipulates what barrels we can use, what size they can be,
yeah,
mandatory
yeah,
In the
recycling?
contract.
yeah.
It's in the contract, but is it a
A bylaw?
bylaw or a
No, we don't-
regulation
well,
that
we,
is written by the town for the residents?
so what would be a regulation as opposed to a bylaw? So then-
So, for instance, in Salem, I have a Board of Health regulation that says, it spells out how many barrels you can use, what size they are. Businesses, every hauler that comes into town has to provide recycling to every business or every customer that they have.
We have the
Um,
recycling one, but we don't have the others.
Oh,
We have to have the recycling one by law.
You know, it may be worthwhile.
Regulation, you mean?
And
That you're providing recycling.
Oh,
so would this be coming from the Board of Selectmen or the Board of Health or
it
what?
could come from either, really,
Okay.
but I
Could-
think it might be worthwhile to do something so that
Produce a
I
regulation?
mean, the contract is the contract. They're gonna enforce the contract
Mhm.
to whatever extent they're gonna enforce. Quite frankly, I think they're gonna pick whatever they want because they're gonna get paid for it.
so that's
They're
what
gonna pay
Bill
for it.
O'Neill said, is there's no way we can have them enforce it unless we. Like our next contract would have to lay out if you don't enforce our rules, then
Well,
something.
but our contract, we tailor to what they told us to do, and then they don't follow.
But to his
And
point,
what he's saying is if we build regulation now,
yes,
right, that says, this is the contract that we voted, we're not, nothing's gonna change with the new contract from what we've got
It's
now.
not
as
even
far as-
that,
Yeah.
if the resident puts out more than is allowed by regulation or bylaw, then they leave it.
right, and to your point, there's no incentive for them to do that because they get paid if there's extra tonnage.
Exactly.
Yes,
So,
that's what Bill said at
but
our
if
first
we
meeting.
vote a regulation, what would be, the consequence to the hauler of violating a regulation? Let's say can we vote a regulation?
What do you mean voter regulation?
I don't know.
So if it's a policy, then obviously the board of selectmen has the ability to adopt a policy, a
Okay.
townwide policy. But if a law, if it's a general bylaw or a zoning bylaw, obviously that takes an act of town meeting. But
Yes.
if it's a policy, then you have every right to adopt a policy.
I wouldn't make a trash bin a bylaw, just because what if you change your mind, or you
Yeah.
change to something, then you gotta go back to our one singular town meeting. Whereas policies,
Special town meeting.
but, well, we could
That costs
also
a lot
have,
of money too.
we could have a policy that between the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen mutually agreed upon.
That meets in my opinion, to be honest with you.
Well, what,
But what is
that's
the
what I'm,
town, is the
that's
town
what
gonna
I'm
go and
asking.
enforce it then?
No, I'm
If so-
asking-
And that's the thing, if you're gonna do this, then you have to have somebody that's out there enforcing it.
Well,
Well,
that's,
But that
what I-
goes back to the conversation that we had with Waste Zero and the fact that there were individuals who were very adamantly opposed to having anyone monitor that involved video footage or anything of that nature, which would take away the cost of the town to perform those audits, and it would take away the staff personnel and capacity that we are already struggling with internally. So that would be the video cameras on the truck that identified those that are not properly disposing, but that's been a hot button issue because now we're videotaping trash, and that was a whole big conversation that people were having, but that's very much like you said, unless you have somebody on the streets, you're not gonna get that enforcement. I agree with
We
you
don't,
there.
have the staff here to.
but
enforce that. We don't
why
have
is
the
it a
staff in town hall to
violation
do that.
to videotape what's going into the truck? I can understand why you wouldn't want the camera facing out against someone's house, to say, look what they did, you know. But if you're videotaping what the hauler is doing, then we
Basically, I
know,
think it was videotaping whether people were using the bags.
well, yes, it takes care of that, but it also takes care of, you know, is he using the arm and just lifting the two barrels, or are we getting out of the truck and picking up everything else on the ground and throwing it in the back
Mhm.
and charging the town?
I mean, that's the reason to go to automation
Cause-
anyway.
Because we were offering the overflow bags. If people want to throw out more trash, we're not saying no. We're just saying, use the purple bag, please. And people are just basically saying, why do I have to? My neighbor doesn't. They pile stuff on top of their trash. So there has,
So do you see a lot of this, Kathy?
yes, I do.
Yes, I
Oh,
do too.
Yeah, because
Yep.
when I come home, I mean, South Groveland is
Yeah.
more closely, you know, the houses are closer together and I come up and I'm just like, oh, come on. You know, it's not every single house,
Yeah.
but it's more than one set of
Mhm.
10 houses, more than one. in
What,
10.
that there's more than two barrels?
Then or there's
that
stuff
there's
piled
stuff
on top of the top, the lid is, you might as well pile it on top because the lid is like this. And so if we're trying to get to the point where we can get a bid for the automated pickup, which is what Boxford went for, to get, I think they say 30% or something on their pickup cost for doing that.
Did you give people only a 35-gallon trash receptacle and that's it?
So that's what I'm working on a grant right now, because I know that Lori, our administrative assistant in the Board of Health, was instrumental in securing original funding for the 14-gallon
Yeah.
bins that we got back in the 90s, and that was very much a big thing to send those out and utilize those, so that was great. But many people are either not using those because they're too small, or they're taking the stickers that are in the Board of Health office and slapping them on the bigger gallon barrels, which is,
Yeah.
again, fine, if you want to encourage recycling. So the recycling partnership is offering a grant for the 95-gallon parts that we can try and
Those are
procure.
great.
And so
For recycling, you mean?
for the recycling, so you can do the 95-gallon tote or the cart that would also allow you to move forward with the automated collection. So if we're able to secure those with a grant, And then if we can get savings in the next year's contract with moving to automated, then we could use the savings to purchase the 34 gallons for the trash barrel. And at least then the next year, you're starting to realize your savings. And then when we do go out to bid, you're moving to automated, which is gonna cut down your contract price regardless.
Yeah.
So that's my goal right now, is that if I can get the grant for the recycling, one that is an educational component,
Yeah,
recycle more, you have a much larger gallon than, a cart than you do for all your other trash, just currently, I mean, I don't know about you, but mine are not
Right.
95, yeah.
I mean, 95, I can't even grasp how big that is.
So,
They're enormous.
Before
We
you-
have them
Why do we need 95?
so you can do as much
bigger
recycling as
the
you want.
recycling tote, the better, because
they-
it encourages more
Oh,
recycling.
I agree, I want big, but 95 seems
Yeah,
excessively big.
When you drive down, well, I don't know, in my neighborhood, when I look around and I see all these little 14-gallon totes stacked up on top of each other,
I know.
and on a cold windy day in January, the wind blows and blows them all over the
No.
neighborhood, and I'm picking up
Well,
other
that's the
people's
worst
trash.
thing. that it's
That
all-
drives me nuts. I'd
it's all
rather have the
getting wet
95-gallon
and
tote,
being
even if it's only half full.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gives you
I
all
mean,
the
if it's
space
wet,
you need,
it's heavier.
all
too,
that
you're
Yeah.
putting more.
cardboard. So
And it's
the-
made
but-
by all recycled plastic, because per the recycling partnership, you have to have at least 5% of a certain, like, makeup of.
So would you distribute those to the residents at no cost?
So that would be, that's what I'm trying to work towards with the trash and recycling committee permission, obviously, to make to apply for the grant for the recycling first, get that out. To supply it with, like, one to each household, and then I'm getting a quote from Waste Management to see exactly how much savings we would see from the trash side if we went automated. And then take the pricing I got from the company for the other cards. Obviously, we wouldn't wanna do the 34, but we would do 1 34 gallon for everyone, and then if somebody wanted to, they could purchase a second barrel. And then we would have those available to them, but that would be at a cost of the residents, but the first one would be free. And then we'd have extra parts and all that other stuff, but I just don't know how much the savings is gonna be for the automated, which is just making me nervous to see exactly how much it would be.
Well, if you had,
Can they be identified with serial numbers when they're distributed?
Yes,
So that you know what address gets each tote? If somebody calls and said, my tote disappeared, you can
Yep.
look it up. If they find it yeah, absolutely.
that's a big
It's a
thing.
big deal.
Yeah.
Cascade
Cascade
and
Engi-
some adult.
It's Cascade Engineering. Have you
Yeah,
heard of them?
yeah, absolutely.
They've been working with me on getting some of the quotes, and they said this exactly what you said. You
Yeah.
have to do the serial number, and that we would own the totes. You don't want to have the company own the tote, and you want to make sure that the household knows that, say, Stephanie sells her house, that stays with the house. It doesn't go, you don't get to take that.
Hence your
Absolutely.
point about the, yeah,
And they all have the seal on it, and then
Yeah.
we can add
or address.
like a thing underneath the lid that will tell you like, helpful reminders of what you can recycle,
yeah.
what you can't recycle.
Right,
Yeah.
what David was saying before you came in was that where he's in Salem, at the town hall, they have bins for collection. He's gonna look into things that you can't recycle in the regular recycling, but maybe we could find a place like we know that if you go over to Market Basket, you can get rid of like the plastic wrap from the dry cleaning too, did you say? Jen? Yeah, but we could have a bin here too. And work out a way to get it. to
Like-
where they go.
Disposable razors and razors.
Yeah, well, David, you're gonna give us a list of what you bought, right? And I
Oh,
know
yes, ma'am.
Hamilton had a list, a long list of stuff they were doing in-house. There's been some.
Didn't we zero when we met with Taylor have like a thing that was like a container and it had like different colors and different like things that you could throw away and then, and that they were like one-stop kind of shopping.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
I thought, did I
I
make
thought
that? up?
Taylor said, that we're heading that direction, but we're not there yet, but other countries
Was
in
it
Europe
talking
are
about-
doing it.
She was
Rhode
talking about
Island or
Europe.
something, or Connecticut?
Hmm,
Oh, you're right, it was another state.
yeah,
Well, like when you go to Europe, you go to my son watching live sound, you're in the concert,
Germany.
you get one cup. You don't get another plastic cup.
Right.
That's your cup. You want another thing, you bring your cup up.
So if you do get
So we're just.
Rebecca, the trash containers, the smaller ones, do get RDP points for doing that.
So it's part of the recycle partnership. I put that in the grant application. I haven't submitted it yet because I still need to get additional pricing because I only have the 64 gallon. And if we're unsure if we're gonna move to a bi-weekly and the truck is gonna be different, I wanted to make sure that if we were getting something for quote unquote free, we went to the higher level. But I put that in there because you need to have outreach and you need to have education. And obviously we don't have the monies to do that, but if we have 2,500 that we're getting annually from that program, and we get more by exploring these options, we can use, you can
So-
invest that back into the
Right,
education.
so before you came in, we talked a
But it
little
even
bit
gives you
about,
4 points just for doing.
Right.
Which would be big.
we talked about having maybe like, top 5 tips for the month or something. On a rolling scrolling thing on the town website and maybe on the television channel.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Like the top 5 tips, do it for a month or whatever, like, it's strange, like things are popping up on the radio show, I listen in the morning, they're saying, put a bin in your bathroom. Because there's a lot of stuff in the bathroom that could be recycled, but we all chuck it because we're in the bathroom and we're not near the recycling bin in the kitchen. So when
You
I,
tell me what you want to do and I'll make sure it happens.
Mhm.
So if you want a little scrolling thing, just let me know the tips you want, or
we wanna have a good looking avatar,
I can do my best.
we wanna look good.
Again, we'll do my best.
So, yeah, because we wanna get some kind of, I think we need to have like. Some buzz in the community about that, we're trying to look for ways, the SMART goal. Save money and reduce trash.
You got it.
Finally got that right, I'm so used to the other
Create
SMART.
buzz, I like it.
Save money and reduce trash, they keep reusing the same acronyms and it's driving me nuts.
That's cool, right?
Yes.
Did you see our newsletter that went out? Do we still have any?
We do.
Are they in your office?
Yep, the
In
same
that
place.
spot?
Oh, you didn't get it?
I may have got it in my email, but honestly,
It wasn't email, it was in the text bill.
So Rebecca's gonna do a monthly infomercial.
I don't,
Hello, Roland.
Well, I have my newsletter and I mean, that I do, my TA corner, and I don't mind making a designated section every month as well that's just dedicated to trash and recycling. I mean, I don't have
More copies of
many
that, too.
subscribers,
Me
but
too, there's a whole bunch in our office.
I wonder if the Board of Health,
Right, but the average
Mr. Bond.
person,
Should have a
honestly, will spend about
in the Board of Health office.
30 seconds to review that.
Isn't it beautiful?
Whereas if we can hit them with a little blurb,
In the ceiling.
even on the television, like a few, like in the
Like we
television,
do that.
on the programming, for whoever watches that, that's where many of our older citizens, I think, get their information too. They do watch the local channel.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of dead time.
we can do that.
We could start, trying to create some kind of information.
In like poster form, and then it would like sit on the TV station as like background or
Or maybe
something.
even a recorded infomercial. I mean, I hate to say it, but
I mean, the
Somebody
IT
on-
guys are always like, let
somebody
us
on
do that.
camera talking to somebody else and showing them, just a quick 30-second thing. This is something new. We want to see, wants to try this. How do you feel about putting a
Infomercial.
recycling in your bathroom? You see, if you have your ideas, send them to this address. Remember you did the contest? We got pretty good buzz on that. We've got to keep
You gotta
information,
keep talking about it.
Mhm.
You have to
Correct.
keep talking.
talking about it, getting information out about how expensive.
It's not
trash
going
is.
away.
And
It's
then
not.
to answer the question, because I just want to make sure that I answered, and the contract termination, you
Oh,
are
yeah.
able to terminate the contract, but only under obviously specific parameters. So in the event that the contractor material defaults in the performance of any of the material covenants or agreements to be kept, the town shall notify contractor in writing of the nature of such default within 15 days following such notice. The contractor shall correct the default. In the event of the default not being corrected within 15 days, the town can terminate the contract. And then the only other way is if the town decides not to fund the
Not to vote to fund the contract.
exactly to fund the contract, then they won't continue. But under such, we can't initiate a new contract with another person. So those are the only two termination clauses we have in our current contract.
Right. We tried to have a clause in there for, I forget what it was with a penalty, if something wasn't, and we put it in when they took it out. And the attorney will put it in, so they're gonna take it out. Okay, so, I mean, I'm beginning, maybe I'm a little very jaded, but I just feel that they tell us what we wanna hear. And nod and smile and sign, and then the end result is the tonnage is not that reduced. Everything looks like it's being thrown into one truck, calling it a single stream, saying they're sorting it, saying they're auditing it. But do we have any, the only concrete knowledge we truly have is how much we're paying. So to me, the most important thing to look at is over the past few years, what's our trending? Are we trending up? Are we trending down? Because if we're trending up in tonnage, that should tell you what's happening with one hauler throwing everything in one truck.
Well, we
You know what I
trend
mean?
up with COVID and then it came back down. We have that graph.
We had a little spike
Yeah,
there, but
we
I'm
have that-
talking about the now outside of COVID, forget,
Right.
don't even look at that period of time. Right now, the past 2 years, you know, and especially if we do get the parts, trending, what's happening? Because to me, that's, the numbers don't lie. The people that come before us to try and sell us the contract are going to tell us everything we want to hear. Yeah, we're not gonna pick up that stuff. We're not, 2 barrels, that's it. And look, are they picking up just 2 barrels? No, we know they're picking up everything else. For the most part, they leave some once in a while, see if big item left, a really big item. But for the most part, when I go by and see I put stuff piled beside the cans, it's gone.
I feel like this was addressed in that webinar to some extent, that how do we get them to enforce our rules? I thought that that was addressed. Do you remember?
We don't have the staffing, you know, the thing that we need to think about.
Contract should include trash limit.
Yeah,
Pay as you throw is the best way to enforce trash limits,
Well, yeah, because they have to buy.
because
that.
it's in that bag.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying I think we don't have a lot of choices because of our staffing situation. We can't have them calling Rebecca and Laurie all day long.
That,
every
that
time
was the
something
whole point
happens.
that Taylor talked about. The
Yes,
whole point was that they would take over that
right,
from the revenue from the bags.
right, and then my point is
Would
that,
take over
that we would
the
create,
enforcement. and all that.
and I mean, I think that's why we need to get
I
a
mean,
bid that.
we
enforces
obviously
it.
don't have the staff to do that.
Right.
We
And
really
you have to
don't.
put the incentive into people's own hands.
Yes,
We had problems
incentivize.
with them most recently, and unfortunately, Lori will come back to this when she gets back from vacation, but we
Yeah.
had an issue last Friday
Yeah,
with trash pickup not and recycling not, the route not being finished. They didn't communicate with us at all. Then we finally got it, and I got an email at 9 o'clock at night on Friday. Obviously, Lori's gone. I mean, I
yeah,
need to find new hobbies, but I saw it, so I put it up on, Instagram and Facebook and
Was that on
website.
7-Star? The 7-Star one?
It was something on that route,
Right.
and then, but that's the thing, like, all these tickets got entered, because if you miss a pickup, if you go online and you say missed pickup, it goes to Waste Management and me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that way, like, they enter a ticket and then they'll go and collect it, they didn't get back to anyone, so I spent all my time responding to a good, I wanna say 30 individuals about, it'll be picked up and recovered tomorrow, it'll be picked up and recovered tomorrow, which is pretty straightforward, but then
but still.
the same thing happened this last Friday. And so, we had Waste Management call Lori. Lori happened to be here because she was trying to catch up on minutes on a Friday. She doesn't work on Friday. She shouldn't be here, but she was here. She took the call. And then they didn't say anything to me, and Lori put a message out on her voicemail, but if you went online, you didn't know, so like, it's again everyone started calling and they started, emailing, and Waste Management didn't give us another update until 9 o'clock at night, so then I sent out the email and put out the reminder on Facebook and said, hey, then unfortunately the trash is, not gonna be picked up, it'll be picked up first thing tomorrow. But I told Waste Management I had an issue with that, that's 2 Fridays in a row, what's happening, what is your corrective action, what are your, moving forward, what are you gonna do, why is it happening, why is it happening on Fridays?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, no, it was an issue with the truck and we fixed it. And I said, and they were like, we're sorry, and I said, well, I appreciate your apology, it's unacceptable. We need to know what your corrective plan of action is to make sure this doesn't happen again. So that goes back to the contract. So not only are they not enforcing the 2-barrel limit at times, but that is another one that they're not communicating with us about what they're doing in order to make sure that they're meeting the terms of the contract.
So there's supposedly each driver has a checklist or something that he's doing. Right? I mean, I've heard this. They have a thing that they check off the streets that they're accomplishing or whatever. And they're supposedly turning that, I think it's in the contract. That they turn that into Waste Management. We should just get copies of that.
Mhm.
You mean the tickets? So we get that in our
No,
monthly
not
reports.
not the complaints. I know, not the ones that, I'm saying, as they're in real time, every day they're supposed to be turning in something that says what,
But if they know that to your point, If they knew the truck was out of commission,
Yep.
they should have let us know immediately.
But
Sounds
that's
like an
what I mean, so they
excuse.
Tell Lori, and Lori only has a certain means of getting the information out, and again, she wasn't even supposed to be here, so luckily she was, because she got some of it out, but what if she wasn't? Like, if you don't tell us, we can't communicate with the people, so going back to the point, Waste Zero said that they would be 24/7 type of service. And, you know, somebody even mentioned on our Facebook post, like, oh, it'd be nice if Waste Management could get these notices out in real time, but
Mhm.
there's just that lack of like.
So you think
communication.
Waste Zero could handle when the trash doesn't get picked up? You think they're gonna handle that?
No, but if there's a
No.
missed pickup or something of that nature, that sounded like that was something that Taylor was, when she was presenting, is it not, or did I?
Oh, I
misunderstand?
didn't catch that. I caught more that, you know, they handle like they do with the overflow bags. It's effortless. I don't know if you know how that works, but they produce them, they distribute them to the people that are gonna sell them. The money they collect it, and then they send us a check.
No,
Right
no,
every month.
but that's the same organization with the cameras.
I know,
Yeah, so
No,
it's
but I'm
not,
saying
it's
I
not just the
didn't-
bags,
I
it's
know,
also
but
surveillance.
but I
so,
didn't
yeah.
hear them say that.
About missed pickup, I don't know either. I
I
don't.
must have
would-
misunderstood that. I
No,
thought
but
they.
that would be
no.
something to find out.
Rebecca, you might have picked up on something that we missed. It's possible.
Yeah, because I know that
The camera.
the big thing was, you know.
Well, how do you feel about a camera on the trash property? Does it bother you? Me neither. It doesn't bother me one bit. If they do it for
Me
free and they let us know, you know, that there's a household not using, them. If we do go to pay as you go bags, and there's a household that's not using them, then they get tagged. They get told they've got to use the bags.
Mhm.
They'll get a ticket put on their hand.
I mean, under the current circumstances, it would be more efficient to have an employee out there just driving around, looking at what's going on. I mean,
Well,
we're fortunate that we were able to do that when we went to stricter regulations in Salem, you know,
so you.
no more than 2 barrels, mandatory recycling. And,
Yeah.
you know, if you're not recycling, you get, the trash gets rejected, they don't pick it up.
So
Mhm.
And it
did
stays.
you have staff people going out and ticketing trash?
I didn't, but the city had a staff person, yes, it was, at the time, it was a part-time staff person when it started. Now it's a full-time staff.
And what did?
A full-time trash police person.
Trash and recycling coordinator, I wouldn't call them trash. It's.
Sorry,
the-
I don't
The
mean that.
role is different now than it was at the
But I'm
time,
the
because
queen of the
there was a
trash
lot
people.
more, it required a lot more enforcement at the time. Now it's second nature, and we also have waste management. But we also have the trash and recycling carts, toters, whatever you wanna call them.
Yeah,
So,
Automated.
people have adjusted to that. They know it has to be in the barrel. If it's not in the barrel, they're not gonna, if the lid is open, they're not gonna pick it up.
Oh, okay.
yes,
So,
that's what Haverhill does. If your lid is popped up, the barrel doesn't go.
yeah,
So people
Right,
are
but
giving,
obviously, if that's the case, right?
yes,
Waste management is abiding by that in Salem. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is it only happening because you have somebody out there monitoring? I just
No.
want to get the clear thing.
people
So-
have become accustomed to it. This
Okay.
is not gonna happen overnight here.
No, 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 I know
This
that,
is
but
gonna take
It's a
time.
public
if you could
education.
just answer my question, I really appreciate it. Are they slapping on something?
They are tagging some sort of notice, is my understanding.
Waste management
Waste
is,
management, the truck driver,
and the
and they're
person
automated.
who's, right, who's
The
employed
person,
by the town is also doing that?
they are following up on those reports, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
okay,
So
so
we do
waste
have,
management.
we
tag-
do have that, so if they tag, if you have, there was a couple of instances, and Lori has the documentation too, that they were tagging things that weren't being picked up. And it had the tag, and then people were calling, what is this, what is happening, why is this, the sticker on this, like, so we've had some of those instances, but we don't follow up. Because we follow up and get a report, we just follow up because the person calls and angry saying, why do I have a sticker on this and why aren't you taking it?
Right,
Hmm.
So we do have that when they do abide by what. we
Right.
request.
So maybe we're not doing a good enough job of public education.
Well, it just seems like there's so many people who really don't understand what
well,
can and
here's
can't be picked up.
here's what I'm thinking, if you're on
You know what I
the
mean?
verge
But
of
If you
getting,
put a refrigerator out
Right.
there, it's not gonna get
Okay,
picked
but-
up. You know what I
we
mean?
want the 2-barrel thing enforced, but I don't think we're in a position yet without at least the recycling totes. To say, you know, okay, we've given you this, what do you, I mean, do you agree or
I
disagree?
think if you get the recycling totes,
Yeah,
the 96-gallon recycling tote, there shouldn't be a need for 2 barrels.
right, well, no,
I
you have one,
I
you
lived
need
in
a
a
trash
family of
barrel.
5 for
Yeah,
18 years since I moved here.
Yeah,
I put out one barrel for 18 years.
I know.
I put out 2
This is
recycling
one
totes.
teeny tiny little house around the corner from where I live. No recycling.
It's insane. Now my family, my sons have moved out. It's me, my wife and my daughter. I put out 1 barrel a week. It generally has 1 to 2 bags in it.
Yeah,
And I put out a total recycle, maybe 2, depending upon what happened the
Right.
week before.
but what I'm asking is within this committee, just not formal, but consensus wise. You know, should, we agree that there has to be a period of education and enforcement. And I think the education starts now.
It already did.
Okay, we did that, so now we need to devise something, I think, quick, that takes, you know, people's attention for less than 60 seconds. And maybe an update when we know something about the toast, but in the meantime, an update on what is actually allowed.
Date, yeah.
You know, I think writing it down, listing it, yes, but horrible about not reading things.
I mean-
It is right on the website too. You have to remember that there's a ton of information.
But what if we made a
Up there.
pictorial representation? of-
No, I
Yes,
totally agree.
I
with you.
agree.
But
You
what I'm
know-
saying is there is information out there and it's a struggle. It's just a struggle to help people to really either find it or know what's going on because I see it on my street. Somebody puts like a refrigerator out there. It's not gonna get,
Okay,
you know?
so do
They
they
think that
have
somebody else
tags,
is gonna come pick it up.
do they have
Like
tags
a-
with
like
the
a-
driver, or should we be
Right.
providing a tag?
They have tagged with the driver, so they do
And
have.
are they numbered, so they know, like, when they put a tag out, there's a, you know, the connecting entry in their log, so they know they could have took it out and didn't take something.
But what's the enforcement once they tag the trash? That's the
That's what I'm
question.
asking.
If there's no enforcement after, then the tag means nothing. It's just a tag and. You know, the trash sits there for a week.
Well, that's it, because we don't have enough staff to go out there and say,
Right.
we can't have the trash sitting in front of your house for a week. So,
I mean,
But maybe as you said before, though, the enforcement will be less of an issue. If people have the proper recycling bin, more education and,
You're gonna
More
need
ways to
enforcement
get
in the
rid of
beginning. You're gonna need enforcement.
Yeah,
in the
no, I know,
We'll
but
get over it.
what I'm trying to say is,
with Dave.
you had just said that things were getting better in Salem, people are learning.
Yes,
So, you know, I
but
mean,
that took, I mean,
so do you think the enforcement would be a fine? What is your
it could be,
vision for?
yeah, it
for
could be
proper
fines, it
enforcement?
could be. You know, notifications, letters, things to start, I mean. But if people aren't gonna comply, then what do you?
Well, I
how do
think you
make
have
them
to
comply?
put information in front of people. Not everybody is computer literate enough to go to our town website and find things.
Well,
Not everybody can read.
but I mean, let me ask you this, like, there's a few times I've seen this happen, like somebody will move, they'll put a tarp out in the front yard, they dump a bunch of shit. That sits there.
Yeah.
For sometimes 2 weeks, till somebody comes and picks it up. I don't think the town of Groveland has any policy or regulation or bylaw that says you can't do that. I
Well, you
don't,
can't enforce unless you have some kind of staffing to do it. It's
no,
not
but
gonna
we
happen.
can't enforce if we don't have a rule or a regulation.
I mean,
or
exactly. So I
policy.
do like the idea of adopting a policy.
I don't think we have anything.
Policy, not enforcement.
Well,
Bylaw.
We could do a policy for
Trash
now,
on your
but
front
to do a
lawn could be a
bylaw,
bylaw.
it has to go to town meeting.
You know, like we have a bylaw that we had a lot of debate on with the cars within the board of selectmen even. You know, how many unregistered cars, where can they be stored, you know, because we don't want people's next door neighbor to have a junkyard,
Correct.
right?
I mean,
So-
I think this would be a really good opportunity, though, if we adopt a policy now and we make news about it.
Yeah,
We could make news about it, and then that policy turns into a bylaw at our next town meeting. And then that makes news because then everybody's talking about it.
well, could we ask in writing to Waste Management to please enforce the 2-barrel limit and start tagging things, and let's see what happens.
We can definitely do that. I know that when Taylor had pointed out to me that there had been no inquiries for the overflow bags, I had reached out and that's when I learned that they were unaware or that there was a new driver and then that new driver was unaware of the policy.
Or,
So we could in fact, create a policy and then use that as a way to communicate with them. By the way, the select board has recently passed a policy in regards to our trash. Can you please make sure that you know, this is something that your drivers are fully aware of, or something to that effect.
Right,
But the only other thing I wanted to mention is that I think that one of the things that's really hard and what I find to be extremely effective is that everybody, you know, it's a matter of convenience. So as long as we can make it convenient for
Mhm.
people to follow and to convenient for people
Yes.
to do, they're
Yeah.
gonna do it. But
Yes.
as soon as it becomes inconvenient, then it becomes really problematic, because if you wanna be environmentally friendly and you're dead set on that, you wanna do this and you wanna help the environment
Right.
and keep things out. As soon as it's like, well, now I gotta pay like, you know, $15 instead of $5, and then I gotta take it here if I wanna get rid of it, I can't take it here, like, if as soon as it becomes more of a burden, people are just gonna be like, oh, okay, so you can do enforcement, but you're gonna receive a lot of backlash.
Well, I was thinking instead of like, I mean, the first, maybe we give people 3 shots or something like that. Like, we have to give them all the benefit of the doubt that they just. Because I don't wanna go out there and give somebody $100 fine, like somebody's
well,
gonna.
we
Well,
can't.
I think that.
We don't have-
starting-
I'm just saying,
Starting with
I wanna
waste
finish my
management
sentence,
makes the
actually.
most
Let me
sense.
finish.
Go ahead,
It
yeah.
really makes them.
I want to use those opportunities to educate people and have something that's already written up and said, this is our policy. That we adopted this policy that,
What's our contract?
this is our contract. We adopted this policy. Everybody agreed to it.
Yeah.
This is what we want people to do. And instead, the first one or multiple times that people break our policy, then we say, this is why, this is why. And we just keep telling them that, you know, like, I do think that we need to.
Right. So like, we can
Educate
also
people.
we can repost again, I mean, the
Mhm.
same stuff that waste management list. You've got big items, you call, and they have a pricing on it.
Right.
If you don't like that and you wanna haul it over to Georgetown, I think you can dump it over there in their transfer, but you're gonna pay also.
Yes, give
We
them an
already have that
option.
Information available in the health department as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look,
Yes.
yeah, right, so, I mean, it's not like you don't have options, it's a matter of, you know.
So I'm just gonna say something that
Go ahead,
said to me by my, not said to a city council by my police chief recently.
yeah,
A ordinance without penalties is nothing, it's not an ord, it's nothing.
right,
So a policy without, or a regulation or a bylaw without penalties. How many times are you gonna say, don't do that, don't do
Can
that?
we
don't
have a
do that?"
regulation without town meeting?
Not one that imposes any
So,
type of
so that's what I
penalty.
mean is we can gear up for that and then change it at town meeting
But I
next
just mean,
spring.
you're gonna need town meeting to support it. So that's where it's gonna be, there's probably gonna be pushback if people
I can
see.
talk to Board of Health about it. We can pass a Board of Health regulation if we need to.
Okay,
well, cause it's a health issue, if people
Well,
lose
still,
trash out, and
yes,
Still,
you got
right,
rodents, you have,
the
yeah,
easiest thing would be right now, to do something right now.
Yeah.
Have the 2-barrel limit.
yeah, to reinforce
Is
that,
if waste management would be the enforcement,
yeah,
right? So
They're
that's
supposed
where
to.
to start.
Yeah.
Rather than ticketing people.
well, no, I mean, they'll leave a ticket on it and say that they couldn't
Right,
pick
but
it up
rather
because,
than somebody going out and saying,
Not a
you owe
bond.
$100 fine,
right,
because there is teeth to that.
yeah,
They don't pick it up.
right,
So, you know, it's
And
not
then
like
Rebecca gets
there's
the
no
complaint.
consequences.
right,
But is there
Right.
teeth to it if it just sits there for an extra week or a month?
Well, I'm just
or-
saying that's
how
the
about,
thing we can do right now. We can't
No,
really
I-
pass something at town meeting right
We
now.
can-
No, I hear what you're
When-
saying,
Yeah,
but
I'm
When
just
their
saying,
next
what would
tax
be the
bill
easiest thing to do?
We just did the one in January, so
We did in March,
in
right?
March,
so,
so that was the third quarter,
okay, so. June first,
right? I think so.
so if we could get something, small. On bright paper that shows,
For June 1st?
yeah, that shows the barrel lit up, no, you'll get a tip, that we're gonna, the barrel limit is gonna. This is part of, just part of education, you're gonna start to see ticket, if you're overloading your trash can, they can't pick it up automatically. So,
so you want a small, so sorry, back up. So I was
something
writing.
small.
You want
yeah.
a small flyer ready for June 1st that indicates exactly what our regulation is.
Well, it's a 2-barrel limit, right? That's what we have in our, whatever's in that contract. That's all we have right now, go on, right?
Yeah.
That we will provide to people who waste
Overflow
management.
bags are available at blank, blank, blank.
Right,
Wait,
We'll have
wait,
to-
but this is what are we providing this to the driver or?
no,
Are
to our
we-
tax bills, I was almost think like a short pictorial
Oh,
thing that
tax
shows the
bill.
overflow bag. And the person, any way they can purchase the overflow bags online and then pick them up here? like use the, you know, charge card with them?
So the issue is credit cards. You can't purchase them with like a,
Okay,
I forget what it was. We had an issue with that. I have to double check the contract. I don't want to speak without giving back
yeah, okay.
information,
so
but I know
that's
there's
something
something
for
with
future.
the fee.
Can they buy them here?
They can buy them here, yes.
So if they have to come here to pick them up anyway, they may as well just pay for them. yeah.
Yes, and they are in the.
It's
Board of
sometimes
Health
faster
office.
than just walking and grabbing and going, you know, standing in line. But whatever.
Overflow bags.
Can you tell me who put on that webinar you were talking about, where they talked about the pay as you throw is the,
Taylor.
No, it was the
Oh, that.
Steve.
was the pay as you throw webinar,
Yeah, and did they send us a
cost
copy of
effective
that?
waste
I
reduction
have
model.
not seen that. I have a conversation with Ron and Carrie
Because
scheduled.
maybe
to
that would be a
follow.
good thing. for
So we're
everybody to
We're
watch.
getting on to our, over our hour.
So what were you asking
And,
about?
I was just curious as to who put it on.
I have a friend who's
It
one
was
of
Ron
the,
Cochran at the DEP and various other people.
How long was, I think I have a recording of it somewhere. If you signed up to that recording, right? Usually they.
that's what we were just asking if we got one.
So we might be
didn't get
able
a recording
to,
of it.
to put clips of that up. We can share it amongst ourselves for sure, but we can put clips of it up. And so you're saying the password for whatever step send me, I don't need, right? Because I've never been able to get into that, what's the thing on the bottom thing. The,
The teams, yeah.
yes.
I know you struggle with that. I know Stephanie did
I
as well,
can't
but it
get
is on SharePoint, so it is working.
I mean,
Yeah, I know, today I had no problem uploading a thing, but every once in a while, like, I can't, so maybe it's the thing is down now.
no, because when.
But you don't have to worry about it. I mean, if there's something very simple like that, I don't mind putting.
No, I'm just
PDF
wondering
and
why,
stuff.
I just like, when I go, I said, could I, like you sent me this, right? Right, this thing, yeah.
Yes, yes,
So I
yes,
go
yes.
like this, and then it goes into this blah blah blah, and the next thing I know, it's gonna have.
to create-
No, but I have our
Uh.
password, and then it says, I'm not allowed to change the password.
No, doesn't, you put your email in,
I did that,
okay, and then it's.
Maybe it's how I
gonna
sent it.
Email you a code.
I did not do that.
Maybe it's how I sent it.
It's all right, no, I've
It
had
worked,
this,
it worked.
so for some reason it thinks I have a password, which I don't.
You have to
And
create a
that-
Microsoft account if you don't have one.
Yeah, and I'm an Apple girl, so that's.
Oh, that could be.
So you do have a Microsoft account because you have a Microsoft email.
I know
account.
that. So my Outlook, I have us as a group and I put things up there. Can you guys see that?
Yes, the group email's coming through.
No, but I mean, can you see if I put things in
The
that
files,
group area, you can see it, right? Everyone can see it. Okay, because that I can see.
yes,
Okay,
although last time I could not,
I don't
Get to
know,
that.
you Usually send out a PDF.
yes, I do, but if you go to the,
she's talking about the Teams thing.
no,
No, she's talking about something else.
no,
No.
Microsoft Outlook groups.
Yes, but I think isn't that part of Teams? I thought that was part of
No.
Teams. But yes, I'm on the recycling group. Yeah, I can see that.
Do you know how many households get actual tax bills? And how many go to a payment processing?
No, I get my bill even though my mortgage company pays
So all
it.
of them go to the.
Oh.
I don't think I get one.
Because I know.
I may, but I
So
don't.
you're
recall
not
seeing-
paying your tax.
No,
I'm
my
just
bank pays
kidding.
my taxes.
I know.
No, we-
Even if it goes
They
for-
are-
I may get a copy, I don't remember.
Even if it goes to escrow, it still goes to the resident, yes.
Maybe I do, and I.
But,
Most of the time, you just chuck them because you know you don't have to pay it.
Yeah.
and Stephanie, I didn't want to create a ton of work, because I know you did the last one, but I was thinking more like a scribbly thing.
Yeah, you mean like just the logo type?
Well, like to just show the 2-barrel limit, what size it is, and show a lit up safe. And the
And maybe at
overflow
the top
bag.
say, do you know the rules or something? Something like that.
Something that doesn't get people pissed off.
Are you thinking like postcard size kind of thing?
Well, I'm thinking inexpensive, like if you cut in just.
If it was just like this
Yeah,
size
yes, that's. what I'm
and it
thinking.
goes in there
In
and
a
it has
bright
like,
color. Yeah,
Okay.
it has kind of a pictorial thing and just so that as people start to get a sticker or a ticket or whatever he's using, I've never seen.
be smart, do it right or something.
Just puts on the-
Just heads up, you know, cost of trash going up. 2-barrel limit enforcement. That's all. It's in the contract.
So Rebecca, you think you'd be able to talk with them about this? To the enforcement?
Yes,
Like,
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea to bring waste management in and just have a conversation with them. I mean, as long as, I mean, I think that as long as we are I don't think anyone would be, but I think as long as we are respectful and we,
Yes.
you know, are not accusatory of anything of that nature, I think
No.
they would willingly come and have a conversation and answer all the questions that we're interpreting from the contractor otherwise. I mean,
Right.
they are providing a service to us. We have a right
Right.
to ask those questions. So I think that we
I
should do
like,
that.
yeah, I'd like them to be a little more like just
Yeah, and I just
honest
think
about
it would
how
be helpful
often.
to all of us.
Wait,
these
what?
things
Even things like,
happen and how
where
we
does
can
trash
avoid
go? Is it being, you know what I mean?
I agree. I think that asking them for that additional data concerning the automated pickup is again, another way to segue that into, hey, we have a trash and recycling committee. This idea was brought forward by them. Do you mind coming in, talking to us about that a little bit? Because we're trying to get a better understanding of our current contract and the current stipulations, et cetera, et cetera. So it does open up that conversation without being, you know, oh, you didn't
Right.
pick up on Friday.
Right,
You did
yeah.
not. But
Okay,
like, you know,
and so.
It's more of an education.
The last thing, because we do have to wrap up, because we're running over.
Yeah.
Rebecca thinking we can't do a composting plant.
That's fine. I don't.
There's a
I-
grant.
just
that-
because we don't have a, like, so I'm
I don't
I'm
want to.
confused because there's no
I-
hauler. So we can get the parts, but it says that the municipality has to be providing the service of getting the.
Well, no, but if
organic
I
waste
talk to
taken away.
Black Earth, the point is to get the grant to help.
Oh, I see.
Like
Like,
a grant application, but I don't know if we dare, like, I don't know.
are you saying we can't do composting at all? I
No,
thought,
no, no, you could do it individually, but this was, a link that was sent to me through the Black Earth people.
yes,
For a grant to help
Mass
do,
DEP
to
grant.
help run a pilot, a composting
I
plant.
don't want to do that. I want to send it to somebody to take care of it.
But that's what they're
That's what
saying,
Black
that is
Rock
it.
did.
It's just you have, that they will provide the, because you have to buy the little cart and the
Yeah.
bags that go in it.
Right.
This grant will pay for that,
Yes,
but who's gonna take the organic waste or the compost?
Right, so I would talk, what if I talk to them about it, but we have to file by June 12th, that's my concern, we won't.
I can get a grant application together, I can make it a priority and do what you need me to do, but I just don't think we qualify because of the fact that we don't have anything in place that allows somebody to come and pick them up, even if we're only doing a select amount of households. Because you
Well,
have to pay for
they
that.
already come to this town, I thought.
I thought there were two in this town.
No,
Yeah.
Where are the
not,
rest of my
not
freaking
Black,
notes?
Black Earth doesn't, it's
Okay, but
bootstrap.
Who is
bootstrap
it?
comp-
Bootstrap?
But
bootstrap
there is
compost.
somebody that has Black
Yeah.
Earth in town now.
That I don't know, I know,
Is there a
Bootstrap
restaurant or
compost,
somebody
though.
in town that's composting?
I did
don't
email,
know.
I did
that's
email,
possible, I don't know, but I
I
know.
did
that-
email the facilities guy at Pentucket to
Okay.
get their, but I haven't heard back yet.
I have a link for the school person for this stuff.
What's his name? His name is Seymour.
No, I mean a link from the same people that sent me
Okay.
this stuff. There's another person to talk to for school stuff,
Okay,
school composting. Because that's a single site pickup. That's-
so I'm gonna wait and
Yeah,
hear back from
According to
Seymour.
Black Earth, they needed what, is there like 100 families
It's
to do a pilot?
Well, this is just a grant will provide real contribution from this and curbside collected, so it's sort of separated.
Even if you
This has
had
to
buckets,
start a pilot program.
yeah,
And then
you have to have like 100 families, 100 households.
well, I have to find out who will pick it up and how many. This grant just gives you some money.
Right, what I'm trying to say is, as Rebecca said, even if you have the bins.
Yes, I
right,
know.
You have to have a certain number of households for
Well, that's
Black
I'm gonna-
Earth to come out.
That's, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask them, what will we have to hit for a
I
pilot?
think that that's in the teams, I think that they've been asked before, and
Right.
it's between 75 and 100,
So, but to file for this grant, I don't
unless
know,
it's changed.
we might be able to file for the grant and then see how many people we can reach that. You know what I mean? We might be able to file for it and then try and
Yeah,
get people
I
to
don't know,
sign
I
up,
don't
and if we
know.
don't make it, we don't get the grant. It might be that simple. You think it could be like that? Like file for the grant, knowing that we have to get this many people to sign up, and if we don't get them, we just don't get the grant.
I don't think it looks very favorable on the town to just request money without having a plan in place or an idea.
All right, so I'll have to find out how many people we need.
And we just wouldn't be as competitive because there's other people who have invested the time and resources in order to figure out exactly what they want to do and
Oh.
Mass DEP wants to give them those resources.
So this is weird. So for $10,000 up to 1,000 households. So it's up to 1,000. Doesn't
Mhm.
mean you have to.
Right,
All right, I'm gonna look all through this. I will find out how far out.
Doesn't Hamilton or Wenham or Hamilton Wenham,
Hamilton does. Town wide organ, but they have their own farm. They've a
Yeah, they
stupid
send it to-
farm.
Brick ends.
So like, if we could get like a farm or Christmas farm in Bradford.
Well, maybe we can find out what other towns are composting.
Hamilton's the only one, because
George,
I think the first in the state to do
Oh.
townwide is Hamilton. That's what I.
Okay.
But they have their own. They're
They have
dedicated.
a
to farm.
facility.
They have a
Yeah.
farm with a facility, yep. Yeah,
Kathy, can we just back up to the,
sure, go for it.
technical assistance grant, because
Yes.
Rebecca is here now?
Yes,
So
go
she can
ahead.
just update us on that.
I did apply,
Yay.
Excellent.
so I'm just waiting to hear back from Ron and Carrie and the coordinator over at Mass DEP to see if they were successful in their application.
Right, and the board of selectmen voted,
Right, right, but she's got it done, so
yes,
that's
so they
good.
got the vote, they got the.
I'll actually send,
Yes,
Carrie and Ron an email just to let them know. I
Okay,
know they said that on the call we had with them, they said, oh, we'll be on the lookout for it.
right, right.
Because we said we were gonna move forward and I never followed up with them after the fact, so.
Okay, but that's great. Thank you
So-
for doing that.
we'll have a meeting in May. Do you want to have?
it is me.
I mean, wow, shoot, June.
Can you believe it?
Yes, I'm going away at the end of June.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Jamaica.
June.
Mike
Is that
said-
when Reggae
Mike
Sunsplash?
said, you wanna go to Maine? I said, no, I want to go to Jamaica. It's
well,
been a
right?
long time. Last time I went away was pre-pandemic.
Oh, my
We
word.
were coming back from the Bahamas in that February. I remember
What do
seeing people with masks on the plane and thinking,
What do you think?
should I be
for dates?
concerned? I remember there was just a thought crossed through my head, like, should I be worried?
Flashbacks.
Yes, I mean, at that point, I was just so done. You know, I've heard about people getting sick, the school was buzzing about it, and I'm just looking at my thing. I don't know if I put it in.
So do you, so Mondays are no-goes for you because of tenants.
Yeah, tennis and stuff, but every other meet.
So,
So,
Tuesdays work out really good for me. I don't know about other people.
yeah, I mean, I can do it. I can give up some stuff. on
Do you
Tuesday.
usually have a meeting with these kids on
I do not.
Tuesdays? That was just, okay.
Should we stick with a Tuesday, the 18th, because I'm certainly gonna be here, because the 17th is my last day.
So do you want to do the third Tuesday of every month then as sort of our new sort of routine-ish?
We could try it, yeah. Try, that's a third Tuesday. What do you think of that?
Works
The summertime, I know things change, so if
Right.
something comes up, something comes up. Bill O'Neill has been at baseball, so we're gonna try, I was gonna reach out to him to see if he needs to have
Different day?
a body double. You know, someone else from Finboard that comes when he has baseball with his son pitching.
We can ask, we'd have to figure out exactly how we could alter that from the select board's standpoint.
But isn't it, we didn't, I thought this was chosen through the Board of Selectmen did not appoint him. The finance board did. Remember, we went through this with the town.
Yes, but there's
right?
only one representative, so you're asking for somebody who would have,
An alternate. They just
think-
appoint the alternate and then
I think
Bill can
we're-
let it, because I just didn't know how long
in
baseball.
June anyway.
what are
I
we?
think we were just appointed for a year.
Yes, you were just appointed for a year. That's
And it's
correct.
been a year already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yep. Yep,
No, well, I don't know if it's been a year, but the term was to January 30th, 2000.
well, we did start,
so at 5:30 again, is that
it was six. We started
six?
So
Yeah.
I know that I will be taking over for the town planning role, so they have Tuesday meetings at 7. So.
Okay,
as
1
long as-
hour.
I should.
we're gonna stick to our hour. That's fine by me. I like to keep it. So.
Repeat monthly. Okay,
You're gonna find out more about the razor blades. and
Yeah, that'd be
that
great.
sounds bad, when I say that on camera, but, you're gonna schedule it, or do you want me to do?
what?
I feel like I dump everything I need to know.
I'll try to do a flyer within the next week.
Thank you.
When are things getting stuffed?
I'm not sure I can get.
But you need it within the week.
But it's only gonna be this big, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, very small. I don't see,
We probably
don't put too
don't have
much on it,
much
because
money.
people won't read it.
That's it.
oh,
So then it can be cut.
yeah, they'll have to cut it though,
Yeah.
Right, but.
but it'll be fewer pieces.
it's
It'll be
easy
the
to
same
cut.
thing,
Yeah,
cut.
you just cut it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
No, I was
Why?
just saying, because we don't have enough money left to do something big in color.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
but I
so-
also
so it
think
would be
there was
good if
just a
it's-
lot of
It
information
would be
on
good
that.
if it's-
Okay. And then from that, maybe we can think of putting that on the television screen at some point, blow it up a little bit, and flip through when they're showing.
No, I think that's a
Not
good
much.
idea. I think we should put our heads together and think of some stuff that can go up there.
'Cause I know the IT guys are like, if you ever need to do a video, you let us know.
Well, I think, yeah, a short video would be helpful, but I also think, yeah, some of the outreach, we're gonna have to go into the council on aging, one of their events or something.
Yes, and they're
Maybe-
perfectly willing to put these out for us too.
Okay, and just start to talk to them about, they probably like throwing out the smallest one, but even so, you know, just trying to get to different groups.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, when we call the meeting, we can motion to adjourn, half an hour over.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
7:30.
All in favor? And Rebecca, I didn't really change anything in this